For some reason, I keep coming back to Mars. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's an old habit, or it's actually the satellite pictures. There are so many satellite pictures, and some of them are pretty incredible. This is a picture that caught my attention because of the usual dark dunes up on the top. And that's the key word right there, dunes, okay? Whenever you see dunes, you better focus in. And the description here says that those are dark dunes, and this is sedimentary rock in the bottom of a crater. And in fact, it does look from a distance very, very much like sedimentary rock or like mud flows. And but they're not. It really does. I mean, it does look like it, I gotta say. But when you go in close, there's so much more there. I've been thinking on so many of my pictures. I've said over and over that there's no ground here. You can't see the ground. Everything is covered. And then occurred to me that what? I mean, isn't this the definition of terraforming? I mean, there's no ground. This is terraforming. And even though this looks like mud flows from a distance, and it isn't, but even though it looks like it, it's structures. This is terraforming. This is layer upon layer upon layer. Have I not mentioned on a number of occasions in the past that they like to build in rows and they like to layer? And this is one layer after another everywhere you go in this picture. And it starts from one side and it kind of wraps around. And for some reason, right in the middle or just to the left of center here, there's a straight line that separates these two layered constructions. And then right up on top is a big V section cut into it. And you can kind of see into the layer itself. And it's not that there's just these layers. I mean, there's all sorts of other structures that are not in the layer, at least yet. I have to believe that at some point they will be, because that's what they do. They build on top of each other. They don't waste 1 inch of space. Look to just left of center. Look at the size of that big tall building there. It's a big chunky fat building. It kind of looks like once again like something that is what do you call it, put together in sections. And all along the right hand side of this layered construction, you can see some buildings going up there. This is a really incredible, very different picture. I was excited for this picture because it is so different. Even though you have a lot of the same old types of structures, the way they put these together is something else. And again, at the top right, when you see these lines coming down, look how they cut back in and create another straight line. I don't know, obviously, I don't know why they would do that. Maybe it has something to do with structural integrity. I don't know. But you can see the lines coming down and the layers there. Also, you have buildings above and below. I mean, once again, there is no place that doesn't have structures here. I had to do very little to this picture. That was another exciting thing about it. It was relatively clear to begin with. All I had to do was zoom in on it, and all this stuff started to present itself. I did sharpen it a little bit and gave it a little contrast and a little bit of color. Not color. Contrast and lightness or brightness. See how that cuts back in there? Isn't that unusual, the way it comes all the way from back and then it cuts back in and then wraps around? And as it wraps around, it goes into this part here. So the top right corner in this picture shows you where it comes around and continues on to the left. And right there at coming in from the 3 o'clock position, you can see a row of fairly large buildings there. That's another thing. You know, you see structures, you see what you think is sort of a typical size structure, and then another really huge one comes along, or a very small one. They're really varied in their size, and I suppose in their function too. But is this not an incredible place? I have not seen anything quite like this before. I have some other real interesting things coming up. But yeah, this is one busy place. And so maybe from now on, if you ever hear the word terraform, which is bannered around all the time, maybe this picture right here will come into your head, because that is exactly what it is. This is terraforming. And the real interesting thing about this particular terraforming is because it does look like natural terrain from a distance. Some of the other terraforming, which are just a massive city that sprawls and sprawls and sprawls, you know, looks like a city. But this looks like, you know, mud flows, or, you know, whatever you want to call it. But it is a fantastical place. I mean, this is one really unusual layout. Boy, wouldn't you like to have a helicopter flying around this place here? It is a really cool looking, very unusual place. So you have rows of structures. They not only come down from the diagonal, but they also loop. You have you know, semicircular areas of construction. It's a cool looking place. My only wish is that it was in color. The colors would be so fantastic. It would really, really be something else. Anyway, thanks for watching, folks. More coming. Lots more coming. I'm going to litter YouTube with this stuff. See ya.